welcome everybody. Good afternoon to you all. Another year it has been. This is the year 2022 Culinary Arts Workshop. And for this year, we are featuring the breadfruit. And I'm sure that most persons love the breadfruit, either fried, roast, boiled, you name it. So for this year, we want you to come up with some interesting recipes and ideas and ways to use the breadfruit that we have. No longer will you be throwing it to your pigs, even though the pigs have to eat, but you will be using the breadfruit in innovative ways. Now we have the sword that you can use, the fruit you can use. Do your research, whether or not we can use the leaves for something, or we can use the bark, or we can use the stain or the gum, whatever you may call it. Utilize every aspect of the breadfruit. Let us see what you come up with creatively. So friends, this evening I'm going to be talking to you just briefly about the handbook that we have for this year. Now because of COVID, we are down to 7 categories. And I should say, thank God, we are opening up. But before we dive into the handbook, I have with me the dance specialist, and he will be taking us to the throne of grace. He'll be offering prayer for the entire workshop. Mr. Patrick Earl.
Thank you so much, Miss Jerry, for allowing me the privilege to pray for this workshop. I do consider it an honor to be here, and God bless you and the work of the JCBC. Let us pray. Father, we thank you for your love, we thank you for your mercy, we thank you for talents, we thank you for ideas. And Father, as we go into this workshop, I pray that your Holy Spirit will rest and abide with us. I pray, Holy Spirit, that you will cause our customers to learn something new. And in doing so, Father, they will showcase their talents in the culinary competition. So as we set sail for this week, guide us and protect us and bless this country, Jamaica, land we love. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Mr. Earl. And I'm sure Mr. Earl will stick and stay before the week runs out for something from this kitchen to eat. All right. Thank you, Mr. Earl. All right. So getting right into the handbook. Now the handbook is a guide as to how you will enter the competition, what it is that we are asking you to do. Now, as I said earlier, for this year we have 7 categories. And I will tell you about the categories as we go throughout this, for this half an hour. I will be on for half an hour, and then I have my other resource person coming on. Now for this year, we are looking at the ages from 15 years onwards. So we do not have a category for anyone beyond and below 15 years. Now last year it was the year of the soloists, and this year we continue on that thread. We are still doing the year of the soloists for the culinary arts competition. Now come next year, as we look at how the government opening the country, and we are hoping that the pandemic will, normalize, where we can continue to meet face to face. All right, and I'm sure most of you are happy that the country is now opening, so we all can meet together. Now, with the first category I want to talk to you about is batters and dough. Now, every and anybody can enter batters and dough. Now we look at our iced cakes, we look at our breads and buns, but interestingly, I would love to see somebody come up with some creative ways to use our local flour. Now we have the breadfruit flour, we have cassava flour, we have sweet potato flour, plantain flour, you name it, yam flour, all of our staples. We have flour. Now, what I want you to do is to just think about it. Step outside the box. As I often tell people, step outside the box and come up with some creative ways in which to use it. All right? So this is for everybody. And as I said, this year's competition will be done regionally. And as time progresses, you will learn more of where we will be having these competitions. Now the second one is not new, but what we're asking persons to do, the procedures, the steps that we're asking you to do, it is somewhat new. Now, wedding and celebration cake. Now for this, last year persons did it online and it was very good. Now there are some techniques that you'll be asked to do on the day of the competition. Now you will get a total of 1 hour and a half to complete the task. Now you must use a dummy. It asks you to use a 10-inch dummy to do the task. Alright, the techniques that you're going to be asked to do. Now we have 5 techniques, and on Thursday you will watch Mrs. Cargill as she demonstrates the different techniques. So you will decide among yourselves what it is that I can do, which of them I'm quite comfortable with, and then you are going to be doing 3 of the techniques on the 10-inch dummy. Now it's a wedding and celebration cake. So you're going to have the other 2 cakes all done up. You're going to have all your other decorations, whether you want to do flowers or as it the category states, you will try to use some of our symbols, Dr. Bird or Aki, Lignum Vitae or national fruit. So what you have to do now is to think seriously, how am I going to incorporate all of these techniques in 1.5 hours? So you will now look at the 5 techniques, watch and observe as Mrs. Cargill do the techniques, and then you're going to say, well, I'm comfortable in doing these. So that's what you will do. All right? So you get 1.5 hours in which to do that. Now the other category that we have is the traditional Jamaican dishes. Traditional is traditional. You can't get away from that. Dip and fall back, ackee and saltfish. The way in which you present it makes a difference. Now, for example, if you want to do a lovely rundown, think of your serving dish. You probably get a lovely dried coconut. You ask somebody to cut the top. You take out the flesh. You take it out of all parts, and then you go and have somebody glue that top onto the bottom. And there goes a lovely serving dish. So that is one example of how you can be creative enough in presenting your rundown. All right? So traditional is just traditional, but it's a way how you do it. Because a number of persons still cannot do a good coconut drops or a good grater cake or chamois. Whatever it is, we want to ensure that the generation continue to remember what our traditional dishes are. All right? Now, the other category, it's new. Last year we did it for the first time. This year we are doing it and we are adding something else to that category. It is where we will show you how to use the knives correctly. So the knife skill techniques, we are going to be looking on our vegetables, different cuts of vegetables, the way how you hold your knife, the way how you sharpen your knife and you hone it on the steel, all the safety precautions that you will learn of. So this year, rather than doing the vegetables only, when I learned that the country was opening and I said, oh yes, we can add this other element to the knife skill category. So we are adding fabrication of chicken, and you will also be learning how to debone sections of the chicken. And I'm sure that the high schoolers will be happy, because I know that some of your SBA questions speak to you deboning chicken, different sections of the chicken. So you will not only be learning how to debone, You are going to be fabricating the entire chicken, and then you are going to be deboning sections. So we are going to be deboning today, and then we are going to be allowing that to stay in our freezer. And on Wednesday, when Chef Swaby comes, then he will utilize those parts and some of the vegetables that have been cut to prepare the dish and to do his plate presentation. All right? Everybody understand thus far? Are there any questions before I go on? Any questions? All right, very good. Think you're all understanding. Now, another category that is new is the recipe writing. Now, over the years, persons have been doing recipes, but they tend to leave off something, and when the judges do mark, they say, no, sir, but this don't taste like it have this in, or something is missing. So we are going to be looking on recipe writing. So the recipe writing, you are going to be thinking about it now, and then you are going to be working on your recipe, and you are going to be presenting the finished product on the day of the competition. But we are marking you mainly for the recipe. We want to see the recipe, and the finished product should speak of the recipe. Clear, everybody? Understand? All right, very good. So the recipe writing is new. But then the other two categories are pretty much what we are accustomed to. Our preserves and condiments and our wines and liqueurs. Now those are what we are always accustomed to having. So we are going to continue with these. Now we did not have them last year because we were virtual, we entered virtually. So we did not have wines and liqueurs and preserves and condiments. So this year we do have. But I must tell you that you ought to be very careful when you are doing your preserves and condiments and wines and liqueur. The jar, for example, the cover, ensure that you have very good covers. In 2019, I remember opening a jar, and under the jar it started rust. There was some rust under the jar. So I want you to ensure that whatever it is that you are using, it's clean. You should sterilize, all right, what you are using for your preserves and condiments. Also, your wines and liqueur, I want you to learn how to ensure that your wine is clarified. Don't want any sediment in your wine. And if you are planning to do wines now, the wine is going to be very young. Now wines, the older the wine, the mellower the wine. So if you were planning to do any wine now, you'd have to plan to do that now for next year. Next year, that wine will be ready. Everybody understand? All right. Now, for this handbook, you can go onto the JCDC website, www.jcdc.gov.jm. You're going to look for the handbook, and you're going to read through, understand the different categories, understand what it's asking you, and then when you have completed that, you will now go on the same JCDC website, and you're going to do your, there's an ID number that you have to get in order to do your entry form. All right? So when you go onto the JCDC website, you're going to click on the menu button, and then you're going to go to competition. And then they will ask you for ID, and then you have to generate that ID. So once you've generated that ID number, you got to keep that number at a safe and secure place, because you'll use that for subsequent competitions. Everybody understand? So that's the ID that you must get. So when you get that ID, you will now have to go where you're going to enter. When you are entering, that ID number is critical. So you're going to put in that ID number. Then you're going to select individual. Because guess what? We're not doing the group entry this year. So you must, if you should click onto the group entry, you're going to see a red line telling you that there's no group entry. So you will have to click on the individual, and then you put in your ID number, and then it's easy going. You are going to be putting in the information they ask, and then you are going to be selecting your category, and you're uploading either the recipes or any picture, the picture of batters and dough. You're going to be uploading that. It will show you where you upload. So all those are there for you to input. Now, if you have any challenges, you can call at the JCDC's office. You can speak to anyone in the Culinary Arts unit, and you will be guided on how to do your entry form, how to acquire your ID, so you can call anyone from the Culinary unit and ask the question, and we will guide you. All right? I will ask them to put my number in the chat so you can see my number that you can call me on. And if there are any questions at all, you call to the Culinary unit and we will guide you accordingly. Clear, everybody? Any questions? I need to get your feedback because I know you're eagerly waiting for Chef to come and to do his thing. I know you're going to enjoy that bit. But first, I would have to tell you about the handbook and how you can enter your entry form. And I should tell you that the entering of the JCDC Culinary Arts Competition is free of cost. Free of cost. There's no charge. So get your friends, get your groups, your community groups, your church groups. I mean, just about anybody can enter. Once you're 15 years and over, you can enter any one of these categories. So the first thing, as I said, get the handbook, read it, understand it, and then you select those that you will be entering. Now, I should tell you also that when you're entering, if you are not sure about some of the categories, it is better for you to enter 1 or 2 rather than entering all 7 and you'll get only certificate. If you have a strong area, what if your strong area is batters and doughs? You will do batters and doughs and probably you do another one. But you know that when you finish the batters and doughs, you are getting a medal, not a certificate. So I'm suggesting to those who are entering, enter those that you know you will be medaled. Don't enter all 7 and then you know that, hey, I will only get certificates. I want to see you with medals. I want to see you with trophies. Clear, everybody? Any question? Any question thus far? All right. There's a question I'm going to be asking my assistant to get the question across here so I can respond to that question. All right. So what I want you to do at the end of the session, I want you to do your evaluation sheet, and I want you to submit your name with your email address. Let me say that again. Your name and your email address, because at the end of this, we will be giving each person a certificate of participation. All right? So you will be given a certificate of participation at the end of the 4 days workshop. The handbook, you can find the handbook on the JCDC's website. It's www.jcdc.org. handbook.gov.jm. When you go onto the site, you're going to click onto the menu bar. When you click onto the menu bar, you're going to go to competition. When you go to competition, you go for culinary. When you see culinary, you see handbook. You click on the handbook, and there you have it. Straightforward. So you go and you find your handbook, and then you read through the handbook and understand that. Any more questions? All right. I think my time is far spent. I know that Chef Brown is coming up to do his thing. So what I want you to do right now, I want you to go grab a bottle of water, and I want you to probably go get a snack. Because when we do come back, Chef Brown will be on. So I'm giving you 5 minutes. Go grab a bottle of water, grab a snack, because the action begins right after this break.
Remember to pick up your cousin Winston at the airport. And remember to take him around.
Mama, carry him around. Me I tell them about mental rock steady. Me I tell them about scam. Me I tell them about reggae. Me I tell them about dancehall. Me I tell them about corrigo. Me I tell them about jerk chicken. Yo, them you don't know them things there. And me I tell you say we have one of the richest culture in the entire world. You see that little island here? Enough people don't know you. You see that island here? Sure.
Me love Jamaica, my land. Yeah, me love Jamaica Island. Roast couple fish, breadfruit I am. Sure, breadfruit I am. Link the jerk man, fling the chicken on the pan. You better put that chicken on the pan. Come and need some food from my cousin Winston. We're just flying from England. Oh, you remember Jackass can't spin the kick and fly the kite. No violence, I just play a fight. When we a shoot the marble and I play the ring game. Party thumper shotty, everybody have a nickname. Down a hero circle where you find the crab and the can. No attraction over that Costa farm. Chilling by the ends, yes you know what I want. Tell the cops and not ring no alarm. Love Jamaica, my land. Yeah, me love Jamaica Island. Roast couple fish, breadfruit I am. Sure, breadfruit I am. Check the jerk man, fling the chicken on the pan. You better put that chicken on the pan. Come and need some food from my cousin Winston. We're just flying from England. Oh, who said the place so nice, who said the place so fun. Run, go get me Pepsi, get me ice, go get me rum. And listen to the music, it's a good vibes. Me chilling by the beach and everything is alright. Jamaica is a place and me say lot of happy face. And when the music hit and me say it can't erase. Me know you feel the treble and the magic in the bass. Me love Jamaica, my land. Yeah, me love Jamaica Island. Roast couple fish, breadfruit I am. Sure, breadfruit I am. Go check the jerk man, fling the chicken on the pan. You better put that chicken on the pan. Come and need some food from my cousin Winston. We're just flying from England. Oh, sure, stank music sweet, you know. and ask this gin but the water pumpy. The two of them together cool and deadly. Got them a listen to a bad Handbook medley. We give you John Oates, a tussle forth and UC and Bolt. A peace and love me say me have to promote. Big dancer keep going, go cut the curry gold.
When you say man is short alone, yeah.
Me love Jamaica, my land.
Alright,
Yeah, me love Jamaica Island.
Hey,
Roast couple fish, breadfruit I am. Sure, breadfruit I am. You check the jerk man, put the chicken in the pan. You better put that chicken in the pan. Come and need some food from my cousin Winston. We're just flying from England. Oh, I love Jamaica, my land. Me love Jamaica Island. Roast couple fish, breadfruit I am. Sure, breadfruit I am. You check the jerk man, put the chicken in the chicken in the dog, yo.
Morning, Mr. Patrick.
Morning, Miss Joan.
Wait this morning, peep through me window. Hot sun a shine, so you know how the thing go. Go in a me backyard and big two mango. Enjoy the sweetness and plan where me can go. This is a new day, and I'm thankful for another chance to win. I am a fighter, a survivor, and I'm never giving in. Never gonna stop, never gonna fail. Never been afraid to try again. Never gonna stop, never gonna fail. Never been afraid to try again. Hey.
From me little and I grow hard worker when me know I'm never ever have a next choice. I fi make hay with the sun face, fears no fi run. I fi satisfy and earn sacrifice. Never have everything, no it never easy. But me live good, wouldn't change it, believe me. Mommy make sure how me grow, respect me for sure. Take a little bit, make everything nice.
This is a new day, and I'm thankful for another chance to win. I am a fighter, a survivor, and I'm never giving in. Never gonna stop, never gonna fail. Never been afraid to try again. Never gonna stop, never gonna fail. Never been afraid to try again.
Listen, me not fi tell you when me born, me not fi tell you when me live. From me stepping out the room, I just the energy me give. Who sad, happy, who down, happy live. Life's not perfect, but we a bring the positive. Rise with the money, and we rise when we broke. Buy 32 if we sight little luck. You know the partner off it choke off. Progress is a must. Look here the dirty tough for us, still just know the most.
This is a new day, and I'm thankful for another chance to win. I am a fighter, a survivor, and I'm never giving in. Never gonna stop, never gonna fail. Never been afraid to try again. Never gonna stop, never gonna fail. Never been afraid to try again. Born a winner, my destiny's to shine. Proud I stand out and come to claim what's mine. Born a winner, my destiny's to shine. Proud to stand out and come to claim what's mine. This is a new day, and I'm thankful for another chance to win. I am a fighter, a survivor, and I'm never giving in. Never gonna stop, never gonna fail. Never been afraid to try again. Never gonna stop, never gonna fail. Never been afraid to try again. This is a new day, and I'm thankful for another chance to win. I am a fighter, a survivor, and I'm never giving in. Never gonna stop, never gonna fail. Never been afraid to try again. Never gonna stop, never gonna fail. Never been afraid to try again.
Good afternoon, and welcome back. Welcome back to 2022 workshop. Today with me I have none other than Chef Christopher Brown. Who remembers Chef from last year? Oh yes, I'm sure you do. Now let me tell you a little about Chef Brown. He's a passionate person, very passionate about young people. Now, Chef Brown is a certified chef de cuisine and culinary consultant. Now, his training went to the Boys Town VTC, then he went to the Hart College of Hospitality, and he did his level 2 professional course at the Hospitality Services, and then he went on to VTDI and he did his assessor course. Now, a boy of age 18, he loves the kitchen, he loves to cook, all right? And that's where he started. And then prior to COVID-19, he was one of the sous chefs at the Terranova All Suite. But currently, he operates a healthy gourmet restaurant. And he's also part-time instructor at the Boys Town VTC. Now today, Chef Brown, I'm sure you're going to be working as you did last year while we were under lockdown, but nonetheless we did a task that everybody wanted more, and today you're going to be doing much more than vegetable cuts. Indeed. You're going to be lifting and putting another level to our culinary arts workshop. So put your hands together as we welcome Chef Christopher Brown.
Thank you. All right, good afternoon. Thank you kindly as always, Mrs. Cherry. So as Mr. Cherry has said, for this afternoon, what we're going to do what we did for last year, where we went into knife skills, where we looked at how to do the basic knife cuts. But we're going to take it a little further. What we'll be doing is we'll be doing also some fabrication as well. So hope you have your notepad ready, do your recordings if needs be. But even before we get into it, I want to show you how we sharpen a knife and how we take care of our knife. I want to walk you through, firstly, a sharpening stone. I was going to rest this right here. My knife's already sharp, but I just want to show you what the sharpening stone is. So this is pretty much a sharpening stone. This one is an oil stone, right? So we have oil, water, there is granite as well. There are different types, right? So this one is an oil stone. We use this to sharpen the knife, right? I'm going to walk you through the knives that I have here that I'll be using for you this afternoon, right? So for my chef knife, right, it's German steel that I'm using today, one of my fave, because I like the weight of it, right? And so if you're going to use the sharpening stone, right, it's a particular technique or angle that you want to keep, right? Rule of thumb is 1.5 inch high in terms of your thumb to the first inch groove right here. You want to have that much down on the stone as you keep the handle, right? And you're going from one angle to the next, right? Or there's another rule of thumb where you can set it this way and you can go back and forth until you cover all the blade, right? So that's the purpose of this stone. The stone is really to sharpen the knife. It comes with 2 grades as well. So there's normally a finer grade and a rougher grade. The fine grade you use at first, and then the finer, the bigger grade, sorry, you use at first, and then the finer grade you use that now to finish off the knife, right? So the stone is out of the way. Now let's look at what the purpose of the sharpening steel, right? Many times I find my culinarians using the steel to try to sharpen the knife. Mark you, the purpose of the steel is to do what is known as honing, right? Which is to keep the edge on your knife. It's not designed to sharpen the knife. A steel will keep a sharp knife sharp by honing and keeping a nice edge. So you're keeping your fingers beneath this groove right here, right? Nice firm grip. And then you're going, right? Keeping that angle. and you're doing both sides. All right, there we go. All right, that's the purpose of your steel. All right. Also, for today I'll be using for later on a boning knife. Right. The purpose of this is to, when you're going to debone whichever protein item, your chicken, your lamb, you name it, you use your boning knife. Again, using my German steel. I also have my paring knife with me. All right. I have a kitchen shear. This might come in handy. I'm going to be using my peeler for my vegetables. Two other one I want to show you quickly is a melon baller and also a zester. I won't be using the baller today, but I will be using the zester. All right. So that's it. We're going to get into the parts of the knife, and then we go straight into the vegetable cuts. Right. Just to clarify a little of what Ms. Jerry said earlier. So presently, I'm an instructor with the Culinary Institute of Jamaica, right? Big up to all my CIJ students online, right? Glad to have you. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to show you how you hold your knife, right? As you see, I just made a cut there. So your pinch, right? So pinch with your index and your thumb, right? And then these fingers now is going under. You get a nice firm grip. So it's not like this. When you hold like this vein here that goes all the way up becomes, after a while, becomes strained, right? So what you want to do is, let me go again, right? Thumb on this side, index on this side, so you get the pinch. Then the remaining three goes onto the blade, right? So you have a nice firm grip, right? So that's how you would hold onto the knife. Next thing I want to show you is, so you have the knife in one hand, but how do you maneuver in the other hand, right? There are two standard techniques that we use, right, as chefs. So you have what is known as the tunnel method. You just put your hand like this, so it becomes like a little tunnel, right? You'll see me using these techniques depending on the cut that I'll be doing today, right? Or you have what is known as the claw method. That's the standard, right? Where you set your hands just like a bear claw, right? Hand goes down, and then you put the fingers are close up. The thumb goes on the inside, right? Just like that. And from there, the back of your hand here becomes your guide, right? So your the fingers are secure, thumb is secured, right? And here is your guide. So you will see me using these techniques as we move forward, right? Let's talk briefly about the knife, right? So your knife have different parts to it, and they all serve different purposes, right? So we can start with, we have the cutting blade, right? We have what is known as the spine, this part that sometimes we call the back of the knife, right? It's called the spine, right? We have the tip, right? We have the heel, right? We have what is known as the bolster right here on this side. We have the handle, and of course these are rivets, just to tell you a few parts of your chef knife. Know them, understand them, and know how to use your knife, all right? Let's get into the meat of the matter. Let's do some cuts now, all right? I'm going to start with the carrot. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take us through the juliennes and the battens first, and then from those now I'm going to do the fine brunoise, small dice, medium dice, and then I will use the potato to do the large dice, all right? So there's a rhythm to it, and I want you to learn the rhythm to it today, all right? So let's go ahead and peel this one, all right? When we did our course with the Culinary Institute of America, we had to be precise on our knife cuts, right? And so as culinarians, I do want you all to get the fundamentals, right? These are the fundamentals. This is what is going to follow you all the way through your career. And the reality is that the higher up you go in the ranks, the more refined your knife skills are to be, all right? So I have my 2 containers here, all right, and this brings into play when it comes to your food costs, your waste versus what is known as your edible trimmings, all right. So you'll find me utilizing these 2 containers as we go along, right. So in one container, this item, and in the second container, I'm going to put what is known as the edible trimmings. These are items that you can utilize in another dish, right? You can utilize those in that. So let's go and start with, put this in my edible pan right there. This there. I'm going to start with the fine julienne, right? So the fine julienne, the standard julienne is about 1/8 of an inch, 1/8 by 2 inch, right? I'm going to start with a finer julienne, which is about 1/16, right? And I brought along a ruler, because sometimes I find my culinarians asking me, Chef, how do I know where the 1/8 or the 1/16 is? There is a standard little guide that you can buy online that shows you all the cut. But just in case you're at home, right, and you just want to do the thing and you're not sure, right, you can use a standard ruler just like this and you will get them, right? So if I get a zoom in on here, I'm just going to show you what is going on. So 1/8 would fall around about right here. So you go from 1/8, then you go to a quarter, then you go to 3/8, then you go to a half, then you go to 5/8, you go to 3/4, you go to 7/8, and then you go to 1, right? So it's easy if you want to do your measurements. Like for me, I'm going for 1/8, so pretty much I'm going for this size right in between right here. So it's that small that the 1/8 ought to be, right? So you can use a standard ruler, right, and you can do that measurement. Let me keep it here just in case I need it again, right? So when you're working with any vegetable that is round like this, you want to create a nice base, right, so that your knife don't slip and cut the hands, right? So I'm creating a base right here. Just removing the sides, right? And remember, these goes into my container for my edible trimmings. These we can use in other preparations, right? Let's go for the 1/8. So we did our measurements, right? So your 1/8 is pretty small. All right, so I want to take another cut from that. So it's 1/8 like this by 1/8. Along the length just the same, right? And there we go. So remember, knife skill takes time and it takes practice. I don't expect you all to get this overnight. It does take, I'm going to say years, right, to really get to that level, right? But as you practice, you'll find that you will get much better at it, right? So I'm going to use this same 1/8 a little later on to do the fine brunoise, right? I said there's a rhythm to how the cuts are done, right? So I have my 1/8, right? Let's go up a little more. No, sorry, I have my 1/16, right? My apologies. Right, let's go up now to the standard julienne, which is the 1/8, right? Yeah. I did earlier, I said to you 1/8. So I was at 1/16, not 1/8, right? Now I'm going to 1/8, because that would have been too small, right? Let's go for the 1/8 now. I think I can get maybe 2 nice ones from here, right? Same rule apply. And these are what are known as your standard julienne cuts, right? I mean, the 1/16, you rarely find those being used. The standard julienne, which is this one, is what you will find in most preparations, right? And from this, you get what is known as the standard brunoise, right? So that stay right there, nice and neat. And from here, because we're counting now, right? So we did 1/8, 1/16 rather, we did 1/8. Now we're going to go to the small button, which is the 1/4 inch, all right? Let me use this one to do the buttons, all right? Sharp knife, create your nice flat surface. All right, watch my grip, right? Stay firm. Allow the knife to do the work. All right, this goes in my edible. And from here, what I'm going to do now is to get my nice 1/4 inch from here. I'm going to use the potato to do the 3/4 I'd said, all right? One, and I'll take another one from here. All right, spot on. All right. So you're going for nice, uniform, right? Seeing those sizes, right? And then it's a pattern, right? But you want to get nice and uniform. So there we go. Take one there, and I take another one right there, all right? And I knock these out now for my nice 1/4 inch. Here we go. All right, I'm going to go up now to 1/2 inch, and then I will do the 3/4 from the sweet potato. Let me peel another carrot here for you quickly. All right. So you're seeing the rhythm. So the dices are going to come from these that I have here. So this row, you're going to see the dice is going over there in just a little while, all right? So that's the rhythm to it. So if you don't get the juliennes, right, or the buttons perfect, then you messed up the dice, right? And one might ask, so what's the importance? Why do I need to have uniform cuts? They're going to go in the pot anyway, right? But you need to, right? A little interaction. Someone typed, you know, we have quite a number of persons in the Zoom chat. Why is it important for us to have nice uniform cuts when we are preparing our dishes? What's the importance? Why not just make some rough chops and throw them in? Why have uniform cuts? That's a question to my audience this afternoon. All right? All right, goes into my edible trim. All right, and I'm going to take from here now my 1/2 inch buttons. All right. All right. Creating a nice, even surface. All right. Edible trim. And then from here, I'm going to go in and get my nice, see my tunnel, right? So this one I don't need a claw. I need my tunnel, see? Right? Very important. There we go. Right? And you see these will get a little bigger in terms of size. So these are going up to my 1/2. I'm going to put the 3/4 now. I'm going to use the Irish potato to knock that one out, because those are definitely bigger. Right? For this, I pull out my paring knife. Right? And it's good to utilize the right knife to do the job. Right? Let's take off the edge here. No need to peel it, because all I'll be doing is making the cut from here. Let's took the ends off. Right? All right. So I go along the side just the same. So another round ingredient. All right. All right. And these does go into edible, right? These are not disposable. Those are edible, right? We can use those in so many other different applications, right? And so I'm going, so for your the large buttons, we're going up to 3/4, as I said. So let's do this one now. Same tunnel. There we go. Turn them over. There. All right. Top a little. A little. So ideally what you want to do, I'll keep these as is just for the purpose of the demonstration, but generally once you work with any of these starchy items, you want to put them into water right away so they don't oxidize on you, right? I'm just going to keep these here briefly for a little while. I'll be watching them. It's pretty cool here on the inside, so I have a little leeway with these for a few minutes, all right? So stay with me now. Stay with me. Stay with me. Did we get a response in the chat for the question I threw out? All right. So here we have, check if we got a response to our question. I want the audience to be interactive. So we have our 1/16, right? Then comes 1/8. So fine julienne, standard julienne, right? Then your button starts here, 1/4 inch, then you have your 1/2 inch, then 3/4 inch. So from here, this is where we're going to take all the dices, right? You don't do this, you mess up the dice. All right, so let's go now. Let's go for the second layer. So I'm going back in, taking out back, same setup, small julienne, right? And I'm now just going to go across the face, nice and even, right? And I just go across the face, same 1/16, and just allow the knife to work, right? There we have it. And these become fine brunoise. All right, and I'll leave some of these here just so we can see where they're coming from, right? Then we do the same thing over here. All right. This is 1/8. So you're going across the face again at 1/8, right? Same will apply. Just allow the knife to work for you. And because you had a standard cut to begin with, they're automatically going to be a bit bigger, right? You don't need to worry about it. Once you follow the measurement, you're good to go, right? The measurement is key. Measurement is key, right? All right, I want him to touch. Keep that right there. All right. And these go back right there, right? So we're seeing the rhythm thus far, right? And you can see the difference in terms of the sizes, right? Then we go now and we get from the 1/4 inch, right? Buttons, we go across the face, and we now get our smaller dices from here. Right? Putting that right there. I think I might put these over here, so just to make sure we have enough space so we can see what's going on. All right? That goes right there. And then these, same rule apply, 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. So we're going across the face again. You will see the difference. All right, there we go. All right, then from here, same rule apply. So your dices are to be squares, all right? They're squares. If it's 1/4 inch, it's 1/4 inch all the way around. If it's 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch all the way around. 3/4, just the same, all right? Oftentimes I see my culinarians, and might I add, even some of my my chefs who have been in the industry for some time, right? Your dices and your chops are off. Remember now, you are to be the ones who are bringing the culinarians to the next level. So you have to spend time on your knife skills. All right. So even for the as you come to the competition, right? Practice. This is what we're looking for, Mark. We know you're not going to get to that place where you have mastered this. Let's say it takes years, but what you want to do is that we'll be looking for to see how you attempt and utilize your knife in getting these out. All right. It's going to take you some practice. Don't get nervous or get timid and say, "Boy, I can't do that." Right? It's about practice, and as you practice it, you will get there, right? So here we have standard in terms of the standard juliennes and battens, standard brunoise and the dices, right? Nice and uniform. Now, let's go a little further. There's another cut known as, I think I can get it from here, the oblique, right? I want to touch that one for you quickly, right? So it's just a simple roll of the item that you're using, right? At an 180 degrees angle each time you make a cut. So if I should start with my first cut facing towards in your direction, right? So I will cut like this, right? What I will do from here, I make that 180 degrees. So it's now on my side, right? And I go again. And I turn, right? So the idea is to just keep turning, right, and getting that nice angle. So what you end up with are some nice veg looking like this, nice and pointed, right? So put these over there. And I like to use, especially when I'm doing specials, certain gourmet, it really stands up on the plate. As Mr. Jerry had said, we're going to have on Wednesday, Chef Sabe will be doing plate presentation. So naturally, he's going to be touching on a few of these. I might touch a few when I do the garnishing technique tomorrow. So that would be your oblique. Let me use this one just to show you. There's one other cut, the porcine. That's the another flat one that we can get from the. You can get it from any of the battens, right? But it's 1/8 in terms of the thickness across here. So it's going to be about right here, right? That's the porcine, 1/8. Let me just knock this one out so you can see it as well. All right. And it all depends on what you're doing. That will determine the cut that you need, right? This is white and white, so you might not see this one very clearly. Right. Right there, that's the porcine. Put this one in here. All right, so we have taken care of the dices, we did the oblique, we did the porcine. Let's do another classic one known as the chiffonade. I'm going to be using color leaves for this one. It's pretty simple. It's just a matter of rolling, and then you just do a gentle cut right across the face. Right. The key to this one now is that you don't want to bruise the item too much. All right. Classically, this is done with basil leaf, right? A nice finisher for your pastas and so on, right? But today we're Jamaica, so we're using callaloo, right? Yeah. So my nice callaloo leaf right here, all right? So I just roll it up. No pressure on there, right? So there's no pressure, right? See? Let me go again. Just gently on my hands, right? There's no pressure. Here we go. All right? And all you're doing now is just to go across the face. Allow the knife to work for you, see? I maintain my grip, and I'm just going across the face. As the knife comes closer to my hand, I get my motion in, claw, knocking right along there, right? And I can just walk my hand as I make my cuts, all right? It's not about how fast you can cut. It's about how accurate and uniform your cuts are, okay? Because these, especially for like a chiffonade, which is it's a finisher, you want to get that perfect. All right. So we covered the basics, right? There is another cut I want to show you, right? A little bit more advanced. It's known as the tournée, right? I have a pretty big Irish potato here. I'm going to use it to show you nonetheless. I think I can maybe take this in half. All right, just, whoop, where you running to? All right. From here, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take away, just to shave it down a little, right? I could go and cut this in 4 and still get the turn, but I'm going to go down and do more of a log, nice square log with this one, and then I'm going to make my tournée from that, right? These again, edible trimmings. These are nice for doing like your mashed potatoes. Scrub them nicely. Yeah, nice rustic mash with the skin on, right? All right. So for the tournée, classic, another classic French technique. So we're going for 7 sides on the item that you're turning, right? So I already have a flat end here, so let's make another end up here. All right, and then thumb on one side, index or middle finger on the other side, whichever one makes you feel better. I like to work. I have more room, so I use my middle finger here. So, all right, so I'm making from top all the way down, 1 straight cut. Don't let it break. And curve as you go down. All right. Here would be, so 1, this is going to form the second one. So I turn a little, and I get number 3 going right there. All right. This is going to be another one. And so I go in here. I go down, right? I have one here, and so I make another one right in the center, right? Now what I do now, I just go through and I just clean it up nicely, right? I said these are all edibles, right? So what you do with those now for your mashed potatoes and such forth, you utilize those, all right? Here we go. Nice and clean, and I put this one back. Nicely done, right? And you would have 1 point there, 1 point right there. There's one other little spot right here. Just clean that off. Bring him all the way down. Right? Clean it up. There we go. All right? 1 point there, 1 point there, and you have your 7 faces on there. There we go. I'm holding 3 on this side, 3 on this side, and there's 1 in the center. All right? That's your tournée. Very classic. So you use this one. Say you're doing, want to do some nice roasted or parsley potatoes, right? This is a nice tournée to do, right? So you won't do this and then go and mash it afterwards. That wouldn't make any sense, all right? So that's the tournée. Push this down. Put him right there. All right. This goes in my all edibles, right? Again. All right. What I'm going to show you now is how to do. So this tray is finished pretty much. All right. What we're going to do is I want to show you how to cut your sweet peppers properly, right? Oftentimes, you see persons just cut the sweet pepper down like this. I preferably like to cut it across the stem here, across the base, and then what I will do from here now, I will get more in terms of yield from my sweet peppers. All right. So I cut across just like that. All right. Cut across the face. All right. Just like that. So all I have as waste for now is just this. All right. All right, and then I go here. All right. Stay on the board for me for a second. All right. Just stay on the board. We're on the board. All right. So we're staying on the board. All right. Stay with me on the board. Don't leave the board. All right. So what we're going to do with here now is we're just going to cut this one into rounds. The idea behind this now is that what we'll do, you'll find that you increase on your yield, right? And by increasing on your yield, then you know you're getting more out of your product, all right? There we go. So I just cutting around, right? There we go. There we go. And so this is all that is in terms of waste from my sweet potato, my sweet pepper, right? There it is, right? So when you cut the whole stem, cut along, you end up with way more waste, right? So I purchased 1 pound of sweet pepper for $200. They're charging me for the pound, right? So I have to minimize on what I waste so that I can cost accordingly, all right? So it's very important that you maximize on your yield, right? Yield is very important as you work, right? So even for you're entering the competition and you're doing your mise en place, you're doing your prep, you know, as adjudicators, we are looking as well at how you utilize the ingredients, how much waste you have, right? So we're looking at those stuff because after all, the aim is not just to have you in the competition, but so you can elevate as professionals, as nice persons in the culinary field, right? So that would be it. And then you can do the same thing as we did with the juliennes from here. You can do the same thing. You won't get, instead of not dice, you know, all square because, of course, it's sweet pepper, right? But you can get the juliennes out of this easily. So I could knock this out. So I knock it here and here, right? I could knock some nice julienne from this, just the same, right? So I could go on 1/16. It's there. Right, 1/8, it's there. Right, I could go up to my 1/4 inch, it's there. Take another one, go up to 1/2 inch, and of course I can get 3/4. I can get them all from the sweet pepper just the same, right? The technique is what is important, all right? So these are just resting here, no special thing to it. Just wanted to show you how those are cut, right? All right, and so you can do the same thing. I'm going to show us now how to do the same brunoise and stuff with using the onion, right? So your onion, as we know, it have the root end, and it have this part here that grows out with grows the scallion, or how we call it, the spring onion, right? Same thing. So we're taking this part off at the top, ma'am. That goes out, right? I'm not going to take too much from the root end, right? As a matter of fact, let me show you 2 separate ways to do this. So I go right through. Let this one stay right here for now. Say I want to do the juliennes from this, right? I would want to take this root here out because this is what holds the onion intact. So by taking this out, it becomes more loose as I go across the face of the onion, right? So let's do that with this one, right? So I would take here off, that goes, right? And I just peel away. Not too much, just maybe this one layer. It's a pretty good onion, all right? And all I'm going to do here now, let me get one of these, just get my hand nice and dry. Right. All I'm going to do here now is I'm just going to follow the natural curve that the onion already possesses, right? So my knife is flat out, going from here, right? And as I go up, I'm following the natural curve of the onion, and my knife will get straight as I go. Give you a cleaner and a more precise cut. There's more precision in that, all right? So go in with my claw, right? And I'm going in. Sharp knife, please. Blunt edge knife, definitely you won't be getting this as accurate, all right? So I go in. And as I go along the onion, right? By the time I'm at the top, I got a nice straight on my knife, right? See where we're at? Move that out. Let's see where we have, right? Nice, uniform, right? These are going to cook evenly, and they're going to look better when you do your presentation, all right? You can pull them apart easily. If we should try this with the root end on, you wouldn't get the same, you wouldn't get it like this, all right? Let's put these right here, all right? So even going forward, I mean, you know that you're going to enter the competition, you're trying out. So even today's what? You can start your practice, right? Right? So the week has just begun and you say, all right, you're going to be using onion tomorrow. Practice these techniques. Practice with the carrot. Check your fridge, right? Start practicing and get the rhythm, all right? So that's how we got that one. Let's do the fine dice or the brunoise from there. That's another technique. So I'm going to keep the root end on because I want to keep the onion intact, right? So using my paring knife, right, I just peel away. And if you have questions, please go ahead and throw them in the chat, right? We're here to answer your questions as well, right? So anything you might want to know that you don't have a full understanding of, right? I'll try my best to respond. All right. So for this one, I'm going to do the same as I did in terms of cutting across over the onion, but I'm also going to cut through the onion. Say about, based on the height of this, I would say about 1, 2, or 3, right? So let me do same technique, right? This time I'm just using tip, right, here, not the, don't need the body of the knife, right? Just tip right here. There we go. See how far in I am, and I'm just using tip, right? And I just go right through like that. As I say, sharp knife. If your knife is sharp, then it's less work for you, all right? See, I go all through, onion still pretty much intact, right? And then I just go straight across the face, like that. 1, I'm doing, I just do 2. Right? And for the most part, it's still intact. I would have made several cuts in this already, still intact. And from here, instead of trying to cut them up in julienne and then dicing through all of that, here you go, nice and uniform. So 1, it's uniform, and 2, it takes way less time, right? So practice these techniques as you prepare for the competition, right? They will help you. You're working with time, right? And so these will definitely help you, right? All right, and I put that there. That's onion application. Let's do some zesting as well. We can knock some zesting out. I'm going to show you how to do just that. So we're going to zest and we're going to do segments, right? So using my orange that I had cut the head from earlier, using my zester. This is good for persons who are, if you're doing pastry, you might want to have some nice zest to go in, maybe a carrot cake or lemon meringue pie or something, right? You don't want to do just the grated, you want to have some zest. So you just use this, have a few little holes on here, on the inside a little bit sharper than the outer part, right? And so you just hold, nice firm hold, grip your orange or your lemon, your lime, right? And just pull along the bottom. You don't want to get too much of the white in it, all right? I'm just going for more of the yellow part, right? You can see those right flying, huh? Yeah, I saw that flying just now. All right, there we go. Nice. You see that nice groove on there? So I haven't gone into the white too much, all right? I'm going to show you a little trick afterwards, so I'll help you with that. So catch this little trick now. By cutting across here, it helps me to know how deep to go with my zester. right? Because I can pretty much see where I'm at. See that? So I'm not too far over. I'm right there. Right? Get your technique. Right? All right, you just pull right along. There we go. Right? And that's how you get your nice zest. I'm going to put it right on this one. All right. And these are good. You can candy these, you know, if you're doing pastry. Right? Get creative. All right. Do that. All right. A little zesty thing going on my board here. Let me get that out. All right. So let's go now for so that's this. Let's go now for segments. So for this now I'm going to use my, let's go for the paring knife. Put this guy right there. All right. I just want to take the segments out from the same orange here. So I'm going to go, same rule apply, but this time I'm going now a little under the skin, right? So my knife is here, sharp paring knife, sharp again, all right? And I'm going under the skin, all right? What I want to do is just not to take too much. See, I don't want to take too much from the orange itself. So I have a guide. I'm just looking at where it is right here. And I'm just going under. There, right, like that. Not too deep. Right. Right. And you can try these. See, you're going to do a salad or something. You can, instead of just cutting a regular wedge with the skin and everything, that's not edible, you know. You're going to have to take that out. So just give a segment. The segment goes in the salad, right, or go in the dish, whatever you're preparing. Then one can have the whole entire segment, and there's nothing that is discarded, right? So it give a little more gourmet feel to what you're doing, right? Just clean this up a little. All right, there we go. Nice. Getting a little white out. Now what we're going to do from here now is we're just going to take the segments out. So go in with my knife, right? I just rub it against, we call the sap right there, right? It should free right up. Sometimes there's a seed down there that will give you a little resistance, so you have to cut through it. I can feel a seed right here. So you just need to just get beneath it. All right. On the other side, same rule apply. All right, I see another seed right here. There we go. And you want to remove the seeds from these before you serve them, all right? Let's do one more. A nice fat one over here. Let's take this one out. There we go. Good stuff. All right. I'm just going to take the all right. And you have nice segments that you can serve with your salads. All right. Put that right there. There we go. All right, any questions? We all comfortable? All right. All right, it seems we're all good. All right. Let's touch the cucumber as well quickly. I'll show you how you can utilize your cucumber to do. I'm not going to touch on garnishing today because tomorrow we have garnishing technique, and we'll be touching on some sauce making as well. So I'm not going to touch on that for this afternoon, right? We're just going to stick to our knife cuts, right? So you can use the same, use your cucumber to achieve all of what you would have done here, just the same, right? So you can do seed in or seed out, right? So you can remove the seeds. In my case, like for now, I'm going to take the seeds out, right? So I just take a little part from here, right? Just knock it in half, right? And so you can take the sides off, right? Or you can go right through. The danger in taking the side off sometimes is that you might end up losing some of your flesh, right? So I rather to just do like this, right? And then just use maybe a spoon or something. Don't cut again. Sometimes you lose too much, right? And you just, see I'm using just the veg peeler, sorry, the melon baller, and I'm just taking this out. See that? Remember, yield. Your yield is very important. See? That's it. Right? See? Yield is very important. Right? If you waste too much, it's going to eat into your food cost. All right? And again, for the competition, we're looking to see how you utilize the ingredients. Mr. Jerry spoke about what you will get in terms of using to do, if you're going to do the knife skills, right? And you bring your ingredients. We're looking to see how you utilize those ingredients, right? What is it that you put in your disposable versus what you put for your edible trims, right? And so you can use these to do the same cuts that we had achieved here, right? If you want to go and do small dice, you can get them medium, large, just the same. You can get all of those. Knock it in half like that, and then you continue with the same process. Won't go through these again, simply because we would have done them with that before. Just wanted to show you that you could use the cucumber just to do the same thing. Look out tomorrow. We're going to use the cucumber tomorrow, however, to show you how you can do garnishing, right? And that's going to be good fun, right? But for today, we're not going to touch that. Same thing for the zucchini. You can do it just as how you did with the cucumber, right? So that's pretty much a wrap in terms of your knife skills. If we have any questions, we'll take them now before we move over into the fabrication, which is going to take a little time as well. We're going to go through how to fabricate and break a chicken, right? So if we have any questions, we'll take the questions now. We'll give a few minutes for the questions. Then we'll take a quick break. I will reset my station, and then we'll go into the fabrication. So floor is open. Show those questions at us. All right, so we'll take the break now. So there are no questions. We'll just take the break now, replenish, and then we'll come back with the fabrication of the chicken. You don't want to go away. You want to see that. We're going to have some good fun. All right, see you in a few. All right, welcome back. I hope you got something to drink, refresh, and you're ready to go again. And what we're going to do now is we're going to break down a chicken. All right, so let me just walk you through what I have here quickly. So I got my chicken here already. We're going to pat this dry with a few some my paper towel, put them on my board here. Right, I got my 2 containers again, just the same. One for waste, one for edibles outside of the legs and stuff I'm going to put over here, right? And here I've got a container. It's sitting on ice, so it keeps nice and cool because, of course, you're working with poultry, right? And we want to keep that in temperature as best as is possible at all times, right? So I have a nice ice bath set up right here for that. But I want to ask, if anyone do you have a chicken leg, a breast? If you want to work along with me, if you want to show something, then the floor is open for you to do that. So you can indicate in the chat if you want to do that, right? And we'll definitely we'll oblige you so you can work along with me as I take this bird apart. All right? Let's get right into it. So the first thing you want to do is, and hey, when you're setting your station, take a look at my setup. All right? You want to have everything. So this is not just for show or for demonstration. This is actually how your station should be set up, right, in terms of when you're going to work, all right? Organize everything neatly so you don't need to move, right? Mise en place, right? Very important that you have everything ready before you go, right? It's pretty dry already, but I'm just going to remove some more of the moisture, just so I don't have anything running all over my board, all right? I'm going to pop this nice and dry. Alright, inside the carcass as well. Alright, yeah, it's pretty dry. Alright. So what we're going to do from here is we're just going to break this down. Alright. Just my glasses over here. Alright. So I have to take my lens off a quick second there. All right. So the first thing you want to do is when you're going to break down any of these birds, you want to understand the anatomy or the makeup of the bird. Okay, so we have a question. All right. I just got a few of the pin feathers here. All right, so what you want to do is you want to look at the anatomy of the makeup of this bird, all right? So just as we would have, as we call the sternum, in our chest here, you got what is known as the keel bone here, just the same for the bird, right? You have the back or the rib here, just the same, and right in between here, as you push this up, you will see these are the part right here, which is known as the oyster, right? So as chefs, we definitely want to take these out when we are breaking down the bird, all right? We don't leave those in, right? So what I'm going to do first today is I'm going to be taking away show you a few different ways that you can break the bird, right? I'm going to take the flat off with the wingtip, right? Then I'm going to take off one of the breasts with the drum attached as an airline. I'm going to take off the leg with the oyster. Then I'm going to do some deboning, all right? So let's get right into that. Hold about that question for me again, sir, please. All right, so stay on my board with me, please. All right, let me get 4 range. All right, so I'm using my my boning knife, right? So you want to have a nice sharp boning knife for this application. If you have a paring knife, you don't have a boning knife, I mean, you can go ahead and use your use a paring knife, but just that the boning knife, because of how it's designed, right? It gives you get to work better with that. All right. So let's go in. I'm taking away. And it's in between each joint that I want to cut, right? So I want to make sure you can see, so let me turn this so you can see the angle, right? So I'm just going to cut right in between this bone right there, and I'm doing that on both sides. So first side I will go and I just right through the bone, right? This guy here comes off, so I put them right there. Same thing for this one. I'm going right through the bone again. There you go. That guy comes off, right? And what I'll do from here now, I have these jumps still attached, all right. Oh yeah, I showed that question. So still asking if anyone have any chicken that you want to work with. As I do my fabrication, you can let us know in the chat, and we'll definitely acknowledge you and give you that opportunity, right? So you can work along with me as I take this bird apart, all right? So here I have now the legs. What I'm going to do is for this leg, so I'm going to show you two different ways in which you can actually break this bird, right? So what I'm going to do for this one, I'm going to break it through the leg here where it joins to the breast, and I'm going to take out the oyster, and this leg is going to come right off, right? So for this one, right, stay on my bird right there, right? I'm cutting right through. So just hold the bird up. Sometimes we try to pull apart. Just let the weight of the bird show you where you want to cut, all right? So just like that. I'm going through, right? Nice sharp knife. Let's go through, right? And right to the back, right here, right? So don't pull this way and then try to break the bird. Push the leg in, right? And then you break backwards, all right? So here's the oyster I spoke about. This little section right here, right at the back, right? Here it is, right? So I just release that so I can see what's going on right around here, right? And I'm taking out from there, and I just pull backward, and the bone will just break right out for you, just like that, all right? And you might ask, what's the importance of doing this, right? It makes a difference, again, for your yield, and it just shows that you have that skill set to do your fabrication, right? Here's this little nugget right in here. It's called the oyster. If you look, you see my finger scratching in that little area, right? So that's the oyster right there that you definitely want to take out, right? And from here, I just break this back, right? And I can now just cut through and just release this leg right from there, right? Nice and clean. There we go. This is your leg off, first leg, right? And here is that oyster I'm talking about, that little section right there, right? So I'm going to put this over here on ice for now. Again, it's high protein, so you want to make sure that it stays on ice, right? What I'm going to do now, there are two separate ways, or there are a number of school of thought as to how to break down a bird. Let's say I'm going to show you a few techniques. I showed you that one. Right now I'm going to use a knife again to break this breast from the keel bone right here. So I'm just going to cut on this side over here, which I want to take off. Right. All right. And again, make sure your knife is nice and sharp as you're going through this. All right, stay on my bird right here. All right, there we go. And all you're doing is rub the knife right along this side of the keel bone, right? All right, just go along. All right, nice and clean. All right. You go up here, right? What I should have shown you as well is just before you take off the breast, right? Because oftentimes you find that when you're taking off the breast, there's a little bone in here that is known as the wishbone. If you don't take that out, sometimes it's a little hindrance. So I'm just gonna pause and take it out quickly, all right? Because I just bucked on that while I was taking this apart, right? So just taking away some of these added fat right here. That goes in here. All right. So I'm going to pause where I was here and just take out this wishbone right here. So it's on either side. There's one here, one on this side. Sometimes it will come out intact, but it all depends on how the bird was handled. Sometimes it's broken, right? There it is. I can feel it right there, right? And one other thing with this bone as well is that if you don't take it out sometime, the flesh is left right behind it, all right, or on it rather, as well. So let me just get that out quickly. All right, let's free him up. All right, from this end, here we go. All right, I free it, and there's one on the opposite side, just the same. So I'm going to break that, all right, and just feel for the bone, all right. Once you feel for it, you'll find it. Just cut away. All right, here it is. I'm just freeing the bone from my end right here. All right. Here we go. All right. I just push back. Let's get him out from here. So I get this part out first. And if it breaks, I mean, you don't have to worry too much. All right. As I said, sometimes they will break, not all the time, right? And you take this to the part right here, right? A little flesh left on here. I just get it off, all right? And here's a little guy. Right there. Right. Once you get that out, it's easier now for you to take your bird apart. All right. So I'm just pushing along the bird here with my knife, right? Just pushing along. There we go. Just push along. And I'm looking for where this bone joins right up at the top here, right? This don't normally take a long time. It's because of the demonstration purpose. I'm going a little slower so you see what's going on. All right. There you go. All right. And so you have your first breast has been detached. Here's the bone right here that joins, if you can see it. So if you flick him back, you will see this bone right here. This is where it joins right in here, right? And all you're going to do now is just to pop through that. One cut. Bam. There you go. All right. And that's off. All right. And with this now, attached to this is what is known as the tender. All right. Take that off. Here we go. So this is our first breast, like that, right? What I will do, so this is the first tender as well. I'm going to take out this little sinew in it as well afterwards. I'm just going to rest it there in the meantime. I rest it here since I'm going to work on it again, all right? So we have taken apart this first leg with the oyster out, right? And we have taken apart that first breast. I'm going to show you another technique as well that you can use to take apart the other breast without even putting too much knife on it, right? So what you would do from this side again, right? Just feel for where this bone join. Just go in, right? Feel for the bone, cut right through it. There we go. So yes, I'm through, right? And all I want to do now here is just to cut along here. So I want to cut right along the back. So I free him up nicely. Right. Let me, since I just want here, I don't want the keel, so let me just cut along here so it frees it up. And all I want to do from here now is just rest your knife along here and just kind of pull this guy back. This is an easier technique you'll find sometime for persons, right? You just pull it apart. Now what you do now for here, this same oyster, right? You want to take that little baby out, right? So there you go again. Beautiful, right? Don't leave that oyster in. There your finger can go right in again, a little sack. There it is, right? So I've gotten my oyster, right? So I have everything nice intact, right? And if you look now, right? So breast is out, and here is the leg. This is where it's joined right here, so I can pop backwards, bam, right in there. So there's the joint. Once I pop through the joint, I can make my cut, right through. There we go. And I can just pull this right apart. And that's it. So this is another simple way. Again, I said this I could have probably done in maybe 2 or so minutes, right? And so I have the carcass leaving here. There is this tender leaving here. I'm going to take that out, right? But let me just show you this first, right? So this is how this half came out, right? The bone is out, right? And this leg piece is attached just the same, right? So with this technique you use less knife handling, and it's more of just bursting that bone and just pulling it apart from the meat. One cut right through, and I have them nicely separated, right? So this goes in there. And these are important skills and technique to learn, especially if you're going to go in the industry to work, right? And for the competition, again, as I say, just practice, right? And for here now, all we can do is just to take this little guy off, nice and clean, all right? Here we go. Right, and all we leave with now is just this carcass that we can use now for stock or for other application. That should go in that pan right over there, right? Sometimes you'll find this will come out with this sinew right in here. So all you need to do is just to, let me take this little part off. All right, let's get that out. You don't leave that in. We just hold on to the sinew right here. So you release it. Once you release it, flick him over, bam. Give it back a nice little hold right there. If you need to use something to hold it, then quite fine, you can do that. And all you're doing is just pushing, just as if you're doing for like a tenderloin or something like that, right? Just push along. Note I'm not cutting, right? I'm just pushing with the knife. Just push. See? It comes out nice and clean, all right? So you want to do that. And this would be your first tender. So he's finished. You can go up there. Same will apply for the second one here now. All right. Here it is, right here. So I'm just going to make a little incision on it there, just to free it up. All right. Same will apply. Flick him right over. And then I just push. So I'm just pushing along right there. I'm not cutting, right? I'm just pushing my knife along. Just like that. See? Here it is, nice and clean. Not losing anything on that, right? Maximize on the yield, right? And this area right there, you just, same rule apply. Push that off. And so there are your two tenders, right? All right, let's take apart now. Let's go for one of the legs. So you have an application to do and you want to take the bone out of here, All right. What you can do is, it's not difficult to take this bone out. It doesn't require a lot of cutting either, right? So pretty much what you're going to do here now is just free up this bone right here, this one. Bam. Go around. All right. Once you have gotten the bone free, same rule apply. Just push. Don't cut. Just push with your knife, right? Because you want a nice clean bone. Push. All right, there we go. There we go. You hear that? See, that's what you're going for. All right. Let's push. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're correct. That's it. Just push. All right. So I'm now at the bone here that joins the leg with this thigh area, right? So I could just take this out right here, as in cut from this joint right here. But I want to go a little more fancy, right? I want to take the leg bone out as well, right? So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to do the same thing. Cut around the sinew, right, and everything from the leg bone here, and keep pushing along. So I'm going to take the leg bone out as well, and everything is still going to be pretty much intact. All right. So let's find this bone. Cut around it nicely. There we go. All right. So I'm not cutting to separate the bone. All I'm doing is just to cut enough so I can keep pushing on this leg bone. And so here, I found my leg bone. All right. So let's go around the leg bone now. All right. Same rule apply. Push. Cut away there. Nice. There you go. All right. There we go. Push. Free it up. Push. All right. There you go. All right. See? All right. Nice. And if you want, for this, you could go all the way over the bone. But in this case, I think I'm going to just bust it right here, right? So I can actually just cut around here now. All right. All right. And once I cut around here, it should be pretty much easy for me to pull this part off. And you can actually leave this part on, as I say, if you want. So it should be easy now to just get this out. All right. Just pull this over, just like that. This comes right out, right? That goes in here, nice and clean. So it's just the bone you're pretty much seeing, right? That goes in there. And now this, now you can have to stuff this up nicely if you need. So there it is, right? Put this back right inside. All right. For sure, I know Chef Swaby and Wednesday is going to be using these to create some magic, right? So here you have it, right? Just as if the bone is in it, right? There you go. All right. Nice and clean, right? And so we can stuff this up, we can trust it, tie them up nicely, and we can have that, right? For this one, it's simple to separate. I'm just going to separate this one, and then I'll go on to the breast, right? All right, so here is that little nugget that we spoke about earlier. All right, let's go right there. All right, this is the oyster right there, right? So for those who always have issue when you're trying to cut your thigh from your leg, just follow this little grain right here. You see here where you see this marbling? This is your marker. I'm just doing it gently so you see. All right, see that? So it's right between the bone. Once you follow this little marker, this ribbon of flesh, right, you can't miss. See? Just like that. See how easy I went through? That's where the joint is. Then you go like that. See? Can't miss. Right? So now we have that locked in. Right? Same thing apply. You could actually debone that. Right? All right. Let me do one final thing for you from this one. So I'm going to show you how to do a supreme. So I'm going to clean the bone from this one so you have nice breast, and then you will now have a nice clean bone, right? Classic French technique there. So let's go ahead and do that. So what I'll be doing here now is just to cut around here. So I just want to take off some of this. Let me take it all the way down here. All right. And the same rule applied. Just scrape. You can hear that. You can hear that bone. All right. All right. I'm taking my time so you can see what's going on here. Right. And what I want to do when I pull this back is I want to take this section off here as well. Right. So I'm just going to take my knife and just kind of pull back on here. Right, so I can get all of this section here off without damaging my bone. All right, there we have it. So I got all of that off and I just pull away. Right, there we go. Right, nice and clean. So you have all of your bone. There it is. All right, classic. Let's get this away. All right, there we go. Nice classic French supreme chicken. Right, this goes in my tray over here as well. Right, so that's how you would do the supreme. So yeah, I think I've showed you pretty much all of what I wanted to. Right, so you know how to break your bird apart. Right, you know the different parts. You have a leg. Right, you have a thigh there. You have a boned out leg and thigh. You have let's do the since we have this one, let's do the, just take skin off. Take the skin off as well, right? Take the wing, the jump out, right? Yeah, I think I have two more quick thing I can show you with this, right? Yeah, this came to my mind. Yeah, good one. God be praised. All right, so let me just do this one. I take the skin off, right? And, yeah, clean that up nicely. And I'm just going to take this bone right here out. So let me knock it. Find where the joint is, right there, and just go right through the joint. So remember we had removed the wishbone, so there's no bone left in this. So this is a nice breast fillet, right? No bones, nothing in it, right? So there you go. This is what you would purchase if you buy the ready-made fillets. This is what it would look like, right? So we have that. Right. And let's take this one now and do like a lollipop chicken, or a chicken drumstick style thingy. All right. We'll finish off with that one. All right. So it's going to be pretty fat. So what I'm going to do now is I want to push this one down over this bone so it create that kind of lollipop style thingy for us. Right. So just in case you wondering how to do that. Say you want to come to the competition, you want to do something like that, right? So breadfruit is the main ingredients and you want to do a breadfruit, but you want to do some, you've seen the chicken demo here and you want to do something with chicken fancy, right? This is something that you can pull out the hat, right? Just go ahead again and just cut around this right here. And again, what you can start doing from home now is when you buy your chicken, try to fabricate like this, right? For those of us who rear our own chicken at home, you raise chicken, you can have your own chicken and you can, you know, practice some of these techniques, right? So let's push along. That's all you're doing here now. Just pushing back like that. Bam. All right. Just use your hand to. So what you want to do now is to pull this all the way over the bone, right? So we're just pulling back. pulling back, pulling back, pulling back, right, until it goes over. It's pretty much because you have freed all the sinew and everything, right? So it will go back for you nicely, all right? There you go. See, I can get a little more on there. All right, it won't fall off, don't worry. All right, and I have a little extra fat here. Let me take that out. All right, there we go. And what I'm going to do it here now is just as we did for the Supreme. Let's clean it up nicely. I'm pulling this off. So I don't really want to cut into the bone. I just want to pull this. Off. All right, there we go. Just a little bit more here. So I'm just scraping. Hear that? Right, I'm just scraping. All right, there we go. So you just scrape that off. Nice and clean. You don't want to have anything left on there, so just scrape it. So I'm just scraping. I'm not cutting, right? I'm just using my knife just to, hear that? I'm just scraping. So it's nice and clean. There we go. Nice and clean. This is classic. All right, and so this would be your lollipop chicken right there. All right. This is something that you can try. You can actually stuff this with something. You can put something in there, stuff it up nicely, fold it over, right? And then you go ahead and work it, all right? So that would be your lollipop, all right? So just put that right in there, right? Yeah, and same thing for these drumettes, right? You can take these off right here. So it's for that joint, right? There it is, right? All right, and these two you can go ahead and do lollipops, or you can stuff them and serve them as is. All depends on how you want to work them. All right. So here we have it. So I think we have done some justice to this bird this afternoon, right? In terms of taking it apart, right? Wishbone can go in there, right? This was some additional flesh. We can put that right there. All right, so just going to cover this up. Bring my tray here without touching too much, and we can just look at what we have achieved, right? So we have one leg, right, bone in. We have a thigh, bone in, right? We have a leg and thigh here, right, fully boned out, right? We have our two flats coming from the wing. We have standard breasts, bone out, skin off, as well you would get these pre-packaged, ready-made, right? We have classic Supreme, right, with the drum attached, nicely French, right, nice and clean, right, skin on. And we have as well our nice lollipop coming from the drum as well, all right? Nicely French on the bone as well. And of course we have our two tenders with the sinews removed, all right? Always remember to remove that white strand called the sinew right there, right? Two tenders, sinews nicely removed. So yes, that's your breakdown for this afternoon for your chicken, right? Get your practice on. We're looking forward to seeing you coming at the competition, churn out a few of these, right? As I've said, it takes some time, right, to really get the fundamentals down and get the standard as to how you want them. But practice, right? What I oftentimes say to my culinarians is that whenever you're going to cook at home, that's your practice ground, right? You don't need to go and buy something special to do, just to practice. Whenever you're going to cook from today onwards, you know you're going to enter the competition, right? You have an idea as to what is it that you want to do. So what you do is you start practicing from early. So from tomorrow onwards, every time you're going to cook, right, once you have a chicken or something that you're going to prepare like this, right, then you practice taking out the bones, right, even if you have a paring knife, let's say you can use the paring knife to do it, and you practice these with the knife cuts just the same. All right, so looking forward to seeing you all at the competition, right? As Mrs. Ginger is here, you can reach out to her specifically if you need any questions, right? Mr. Jerry is going to come back and speak to you briefly, but it's it for me for today. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow as well. Tomorrow I'll be touching on garnishing technique, and of course we'll be doing some sauce making, right? So I'll have that for you for tomorrow. But for today, for me, it's bye for now. We'll go right over in a few minutes to Mrs. Jane Jerry. She will come and set and take it out from here.
All right, thank you, Chef.
Right.
Thank you so much.
You're
It was
welcome.
well
It's a
received,
pleasure.
and I'm sure that those on YouTube, those on the Zoom land, those on Facebook would have had such a lovely lesson being taught by you today. So we look at the chicken supreme, we look at the chicken lollipop, we have the leg with the bone in, we have our breast that is skin off, deboned, we have the leg and thigh that is bone out. We have quite a bit. And as Chef says, on Wednesday, Chef Swaby will be coming, and I tell you, I'm sorry that some of you cannot come over because the kitchen is going to be smelling up and everybody will want something to eat. And then we're going to see how we can present these on a plate. Now, you are eating. I want after today, after this week I should say, that we've done vegetable cuts, we've done fabrication of chicken and deboning of chicken. I want to see some persons cooking and presenting on plates. Get your fancy plates and platter and send to me. Now, one of my competitor from St. Mary, I tell you, just yesterday she sent me, they have family cook-off, and she sent those dishes for me to see. I want to see you having some healthy cook-off with your family members. Show them your skills. The first thing you need to get, you have very sharp knives so you can work with. So I want to thank you for being a part of the experience today. We looked at the handbook. We looked at how you can enter. We looked at Chef doing vegetable cuts. We look at fabrication of the chicken and deboning of the chicken, right? So all of this, we are going to continue with this tomorrow. We're going to be doing sauce making, all right? So I want to encourage persons as you're on. You need to fill out the evaluation form. You need to send your name and your email address together so that we can send you that certificate of participation. We need to do that because as soon as you send it, if you're on for today, if you're on for the 4 days, that will be reflecting on your certificate of participation. So I'm imploring you, please send those information to us so we can have your certificates ready. Are there any questions before we close out? Any questions? Did I have anybody from Zoomland or Facebook or YouTube working along with Chef with the chicken?
Yeah, give us a shout out.
I remember, just let us know, because I remembered asked in a group of teachers that asked the student to take either a chicken breast or a chicken leg and thigh so they can work with the chef as he would perfect and help you to perfect your craft. All right, so as Chef show you edible trims, now the bones, you know, those will be used for stock. So we're gonna make some stock, and from the stock we can use it to make other products. Yeah. So what he did on this platter is on ice because it's high protein. So if we were to fillet a fish, we'd have to put it on ice. We don't want anybody to be sick. So when you're doing this at home, I want you to practice the same. Treat it like you are selling to somebody else. So we're going to see tomorrow sauce making, and then before Chef Swaby comes, I'll briefly look on recipe writing, and Chef Broad will do a little bit of yield, or probably if he wants to do the yield tomorrow, or when we do recipe writing, he'll speak on yield. All right? And then we're going to have Chef Swaby coming in to do a lovely presentation of all that we have done throughout the week. So listen to me. You can't miss a day, because we have it tomorrow, we have it Wednesday. Come Thursday will be cake decorated. Oh my, you can't miss it. You have to be there. Yeah. And I must tell you that if you miss it today, don't worry. You can watch it on YouTube, you can go on Facebook, you can watch it, because it will be there for you to watch and for you to practice and practice and practice until you get your craft right. All right? Are there any questions before we close out for this evening? You have done well so far. Very well. But I want you to interact with us as best as you possibly can. If there are any challenges, any questions, things that you are not sure of, please let us know and we will try to answer as best as possible. Any questions? And remember, tomorrow, if you want to do sauces with Chef, we are going to be doing bechamel, we are going to do veloute, beurre blanc. Well. So, and these are some of the things that you will do. And on Wednesday, I will do a play on one of the sauces. So he's going to be doing the mother sauces, and I will do a play on the sauce to show you that you will always have to, you know, think outside the box.
Improvise.
All right, you can improvise.
I think for tomorrow as well, we're touching on the garnishing techniques.
Yes, the garnishing techniques are a must for tomorrow as we close out tomorrow, garnishing techniques, and you're going to be doing all of that when you prepare your dishes. All right? So you will get, I know in the chat, we will put the YouTube link in the chat. We'll put the, for Facebook, it will go in the chat so you can log on and you can be a part of the whole experience. All right? So I want to thank you once again. And as I said, the evaluation sheet and your email address with your name is important, so we can send you your certificate of participation. And let me tell you, tomorrow we're going to start 3:30 and we go right up into 6 o'clock. So I want to thank you again for being a part of this 2022 experience and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a blessed one. Be safe. Continue to observe all the protocols. Remember that COVID is still lurking, so be careful, be mindful as you go about your daily business. All right? Thanks again, and God bless you. Walk good for this evening.